Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Monica, just testing. Monica Corrado here, the Gap Chef. Happy to be with you on a Tuesday morning, 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time. I will be here every morning, every Tuesday morning, to answer your questions about gaps. Happy to do that. Again, Monica Corrado, the Gap Chef. My website is simplybeingwell.com. I do hope you visit it once in a while. There are fabulous things there for you, resources, online courses, my schedule of when I'm speaking, blah, blah, blah. So, again, I am not a medical doctor. Nothing I say today has been approved by the FDA. I do try very hard to make sure that everything I say is in alignment with Dr. Natasha's writing, is in alignment and is accurately representing her books, which are Gut and Psychology Syndrome. Look at this thing, it's falling apart. I hope yours looks the same. Gut and Physiology Syndrome. Again, look at that. Lots to learn here for everyone. And of course, her Vegetarianism Explained book and her Put Your Heart in Your Mouth book. So, what else do I want to say? Welcome to everyone that's new to this Facebook Live. Welcome to everyone that's new to our page. I do apologize for holding your posts for a couple of days. Things have been crazy busy, and I will get on them right away after we're done today. So, what else can I tell you? Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Rosa Maria. Elin, good to have you. Nevra, good to have you. Hello, hello. Yes, you may ask a quick question about histamine and stock, although that prompts me to remind everyone that not only do these Facebook Lives stay on our page, and you can just go back to past events and you will find them to watch, but also I do put them on YouTube, on my channel, Ask the Gap Chef, and I have done a very extensive conversation, discussion, Facebook Live about histamine. So I really suggest all of you tell your friends, tell your Gapsters, tell everyone who wants to learn more about gaps and who has questions. Get to that page. It really is just these Facebook Lives. So I'm just talking. You could just turn it on while you're driving, while you're doing dishes, while you're making meat stock, while you're making ferments, etc., etc. You don't have to see me, although I am happy to be seen. But you could certainly just be listening to whatever it is I've got on there. Okie dokie. So I'm going to suggest to you, Nevra, that you go ahead and jump right on that YouTube and listen to it, because I did talk extensively about histamine in gaps, histamine in stock, etc., etc. I also suggest that everyone listen to the video, or watch the video, or listen to the video audio of the 4 pillars, where I talk about what is gaps and how does it work, and what will you be doing when you apply these nutritional principles. So I really suggest all the people new to gaps, people that have been doing gaps for months, for years, I suggest that all of you jump on and watch that particular one called The 4 Pillars. It's also called Gaps Basics. All right, let's see. I just want to share with you, last weekend on Saturday, I was invited to talk at the Naturally Inspired Health Summit. I was there with some pretty incredible human beings, and I did my best to spread the good news of everyone get back in the kitchen. All right, here we go. Okie doke. You're smiling, excellent. Okay, Nevra says, is it correct that I have to introduce one meat at a time, 3 days in the stock, 3 days, and one vegetable in the stock at a time? No, it's not correct. So you do want to introduce, my suggestion is that you make stock from either chicken or turkey or beef or lamb, and that you don't combine them in the stock pot. But no, you do not have to introduce one at a time, unless, yeah, that's not something Dr. Natasha talks about. That's not something I teach. If you have an individual who is really, really sick, or shall we say highly symptomatic, then you may wish to just start with chicken stock or turkey stock, and do that for a while, just to get them stabilized, and then add something else new. But no, you don't have to wait 3 days and then start another stock, wait 3 days and try a new vegetable in your stock. No. Voila. I hope that was helpful. Hello, Joanna is here. Hey, Joanna. Hey, Karen. 2 weeks in a row we get Karen. I mean, just because she's never here. I mean, I love that all of you are here. Anyone that's here, hooray. Okay. Never says, that's me, highly symptomatic, reacting to everything. Then the thing that I'm going to, vegetables same way, doesn't matter. I want to suggest to everyone that you, whenever you increase anything, whenever in gaps, whenever we add anything new, or whenever we increase something, we go very, very slowly. Slow and steady, slow, slow, slow. I was working, I need to send you an email. Anyway, you want to go very, very slowly when you're doing any introduction of a new food or any increase of a food. I was working with someone today, and we have been working on increasing the amount of meat stock in this person's diet. And this person increased by, I think, 1/3 of a cup, and then had nausea. So, folks, find what works for your body. Increasing the amount by a teaspoon is perfect. Increasing the amount by a drop is perfect. Increasing the amount by a tablespoon or an ounce is perfect. Find what works for you. One of the biggest gifts of the GAPS diet, this is a gift according to me, one of the biggest gifts that the GAPS diet gives us, that Dr. Natasha has given us through this particular protocol, is to learn to hear our bodies. That's what it's all about, Alfie. What's going on with my body? What does it need? How much can it take at one time? Is the appropriate amount for me to increase a drop? Is the appropriate amount for me to increase a teaspoon? Is the appropriate amount for me to increase a tablespoon? There is no definitively, I'll say it differently. The right answer is what is right for you. The right answer is what is right for your body. The right answer is, how do you feel when you increase? Okay, so Nevra, I'm glad you're with us. Welcome, blessings, and when the body is reacting a lot, we want to really listen to it. You're welcome. I'm glad. Yes. GAPS is a journey for all of us. It's a journey to find new, clean sources of food. It's a journey to learn how to be in the kitchen again. It's a journey to listen to our bodies, learn how to listen again, maybe learn how to listen for the first time. So it's a journey, and I really, I like to say, listen to the body. What is it saying? What is she saying to you? Right? Are you making progress? What is working? I'm talking with my Thursday morning GAPS chat, which I do every Thursday. It's a subscription. Group of us get together. We've been doing it for about 4 or 5 years now. 5 years. Anyway, and I said, what is working? I encourage you all. What is working? What is working today? Really important for us to focus on what is working today. What is working in this moment? What is working? Because we get what we focus on. And if we continue to focus on what is not working, yeah, we're going to get more that is not working. Oh, I love those hearts. Send some more. Thank you. Lovely. Appreciate them. All right. Hello, Kathleen. Good to have you with us. Hello, Victorious Valerie. She is with us and victorious every day. We love that. Excellent, everyone. Thank you for being here. Okay. So, yeah, it's a really great idea to think about what's working right now. It's also a wonderful idea. I encourage people to write down in a little book, little notebook, little victories on gaps. Little victories. It'd be great if you wrote a little victory every day. Sorry to use your name there, Valerie, but, right, like, what worked today? Hey, I added a drop of egg yolk to my meat stock for the first time, and I didn't have die-off. Yes! I didn't feel bad. I felt great. How about today? I felt really good. I had good energy until 1 p.m. instead of 9 a.m. Hooray! We love that, right? These are victories. They're things you need to write down, because if you don't write them down, your mind will stop you focusing on them. Your mind will show you everything that's not working. It will show you the struggle. It will show you the pain. It will show you the difficulty. It will show you everything that's wrong. So we want to have an actual piece of paper where we write down what is working, and we look at it every day. What are my gaps, accomplishments? What are my things that have gotten better? Where am I today versus when I started? Is there a trajectory of well-being? Is there a trajectory of healing? Is there a trajectory of wellness? And frankly, folks, I don't care if the trajectory is, right, if this is straight, it's like this, or if the trajectory is like this, or somewhere in between. Are we making progress? That's really what we want to know. Okay, so with that, I am going to launch into cholesterol, because I see lots of misinformation and not only misinformation, but fear around cholesterol on the page in our group. I see it on other groups. I see it all over the mainstream media. Ay, ay, ay. Right? Hello, Laura. Good to have you. So we're going to talk about cholesterol today. Just a few minutes. So here's the book. I don't know if this is backward or not for you. I hope not. But here's the book. Read it. Look who wrote it. You should see the familiar signpost. And you should see the familiar name. And you should see heart. Yeah? Red book. So this is the red book, affectionately called. And Dr. Natasha has written a fabulous book about the heart and how it works, and how it needs nutrition, and how it needs cholesterol, and all of the great things. I love this. I'm feeling better all the time. Give me those hearts. Woohoo! Thank you, whoever's sending them. It's really perking me up here. Okay, so cholesterol, friend or foe. So I really, really encourage you to pick up that book. If you don't want to pick up that book, then pick up this book or pick up this book. All of them have a conversation, a chapter, some pages on cholesterol. Please read them, because what's going to happen, what we find happening, let's see, what can happen, that's probably a better way to put it, what can happen in gaps is that your cholesterol numbers, if you test them, can go very high, or high. They can go high. They can go very high. Now, what does that mean? What that means, yes, go Victorious Valerie. Cholesterol is actually our friend and is essential for brain health and many, many other things. Very, very true. So what you'll see is some people get on gaps. They are mainstreamers. They are new to healing with food. or not, but they may go off and have their cholesterol tested, and they see that the numbers are high. Now, that is a relative term because many people don't know that a normal cholesterol used to be around 250, and that was normal, and that they have been lowering that number for, I don't know, the last decade or so, maybe more like 20, 30 years. They've been lowering the healthy upper limit of cholesterol, and so now anything over 100, I think, is what they're saying is high. And so I just want everyone to know that it used to be that that number was a lot higher. That was just fine. Nothing to worry about. 250, 275, 300, whatever. And so if you're getting numbers that are like 180, fabulous. The other white coats may tell you that that is way too high. So you need to be on a statin. Please do. Well, do whatever you want, but in my particular opinion, and I believe Dr. Natasha's statins are not a good idea. For lots of reasons. You can find out lots of reasons why, and you can find out those reasons in here. Okay, so let's just talk about cholesterol. So what is cholesterol? Cholesterol is a hormone. It is not a fat. Let's just get that straight. So cholesterol is a hormone. Cholesterol is also the food, the nutrient, the resource, the ingredient, cholesterol is what is needed for so many functions in your body. Victorious Valerie just said it's essential for brain health. Yes, it is essential for every cell in your body. It is essential for your lungs and the coating of the lungs. It is essential for all of your hormones, your sex hormones. That means sex hormones, meaning female hormones, male hormones. We're talking about estrogen. We're talking about testosterone. We're talking about all the hormones in between, all of those sex hormones. We're also talking about stress hormones, adrenaline, all of the hormones that have to do with your adrenals, right? So sex hormones require cholesterol. Think about that for a moment. Anybody having issues with menopause? Anybody having issues with menstrual cycles? Anyone having issues with fertility? Anyone having issues with their thyroid? Anyone having issues with stress? Anyone having issues with fatigue? Anyone having issues with exhaustion? Anyone having issues with brain fog? Anyone having issues with memory? Etc., etc., etc. What do you need for all of these things? Cholesterol. Cholesterol. You need it. You need to eat it, and you need to embrace those foods that are rich in them. And the more cholesterol you eat, the more resources, the more building materials, the more nutrients, the more you are giving your body what it needs. You need this stuff, or you can't make those hormones. You need it, or you can't make, right? Your brain can't function. Okay, so, besides which, your body will also, if you starve yourself of cholesterol, your body will produce what it needs itself. Let's read on just a bit. Hello, Vicky. Good to have you with us. Victorious Valerie says statins, cholesterol-lowering drugs, are actually very dangerous and can do more harm than good. I read that it is linked to violent behaviors. Yes, a lack of cholesterol is definitely linked to violence, to depression, and lots of other things. So if you think about how demonized it has been in our culture for at least the last 40 years, right? Early 80s, Surgeon General, U.S., went low fat, no fat, and oh, by the way, let's eat all these ersatz, which means fake fats, instead of eggs and butter. Just think about what's happened in the last 40 years. How is our brain health? How is our brain function? Our brain health is bad, and our brain function is low. How is our anxiety? Through the roof. How is our ability to focus? None. How many people are on medication for focusing, for ADD, for ADHD? Oh, I can't focus, I can't focus, I can't focus. Eat more eggs. Eat them every day. Eat them raw. Eat Russian custard. Right, folks? So really, really important to look at the things that are happening in our culture over or not. If it's totally Debbie Downer to you, no problem. Don't even look at it. But just do the GAPS diet and go on your merry way and be happy. But what I'm trying to do is to address those people who are on the page who are worried about their child's cholesterol, their daughter's cholesterol, their own cholesterol, their numbers. And the first thing that you need to know is that in GAPS, for the most part, Dr. Natasha does not suggest testing. Because testing for anything is one moment in time. Testing can be very expensive. And quite frankly, many, many things, not all, many things can come to balance just by doing the diet. Now, if you're a person who wants to get tested for a baseline once a year, once every 2 years, but certainly not once a month, once a quarter. I mean, golly gee willikers, I believe that the white coats would have us testing. I'm a white coat too today, but you know what I'm saying. Would have us testing all the time. Why? Because then you get in the loop, right? And they know, what drugs do you need? Let's get you on that medication and that medication and that medication. Let's frighten you a little bit more about cholesterol and strokes and heart disease and right? So, let's talk about these wonderful, the way Dr. Natasha looks at it in the red book. Again, you can find it in the yellow book. Let's take a look. Just want to see where she puts cholesterol in the yellow book. I don't know that it has its own. Let's just see for one moment. Does it have its own space? I don't think so. It's not in the table of contents, but it is in the back of the yellow book. Let's find it. Cholesterol. Page 260 to 262, and then again 280. Hello, Abida. Hello, Faria. Good to have everyone here today. All right, let's take a look. 260 to 262. Let's see what she has to say in the yellow book. I'm in the yellow book, so those of you that don't have the red book, you can start in the yellow book. Oh my goodness, what does she say? Page 260, yellow book. What about cholesterol? Whoa. She goes on for 2 pages here. The truth is that we humans cannot live without cholesterol. Every cell of every organ, that's what I was saying, in our bodies has cholesterol as part of its structure. Folks, your microbes and cells, that's what you're made of. If your cell structure starts breaking down, you are on your way to chronic illness. No joke. So, one more time with feeling. Every cell of every organ in our bodies has cholesterol as part of its structure. Cholesterol is an integral and very important part of our cell membrane. The membranes that make the cell wall and the walls of all the organelles inside the cells. That means little baby organs inside the cells. Okay? In many cells, almost half the cell wall is made from cholesterol. Okay? Different kinds of cells in the body need different amounts. The human brain. This is what we're saying, folks. Do you have brain fog? Are you unable to focus? Are you unable to think? Think about our children. How many teenagers are on medication for ADD and ADHD? Those are focus medications. Maybe we could just give them 2 or 3 eggs every morning for breakfast. What do you think? Would it have an effect? Yes. What if we cooked those eggs in butter from cows on pasture? Yes. What if we cooked them in lard? Fabuloso. Let's cook them in lard. These are all fabulous sources of cholesterol. Maybe if we did, their brain function would increase. Their focusing ability would get better. Maybe, yes, they would be able to think and focus without meds. What a concept. Okay, so again, I'm in the yellow book. It's definitely in the yellow book. You can check it out. Yes. Around 25% of all body cholesterol is taken by the brain. What does that mean? A quarter of what you've got is what the brain takes. It's a very cholesterol-hungry organ. Your brain needs it. Let's eat it, folks. Let's eat it, let's eat it, let's eat it. Right? Okay. Alrighty then. Every cell and every structure in the brain and the rest of our nervous system needs cholesterol, not only to build itself, but to accomplish its many functions. Whoa. All right, that comes from the yellow book. There's only 3 pages in there, folks. Read them. Read them and feel better. Oh, they keep going. I was wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. Yes. All right, so let's go from there to here for just a moment. All right, so here we go. What does Dr. Natasha say? Number 1. Start in another place. I'm on page 22 in the red book, very early on. Almost every cell produces cholesterol all the time, during all of our lives. Whoa. Okay, so our cells are producing it. One of the difficulties with those things that they ask you to take, the pills that start with an S, statins, is that some of them that are being made now actually stop the body's ability to make cholesterol, which is problematic. That's really bad, folks. You don't want to mess with the human body. Everything that the body does is wise. Everything the body does is wise. I mean, God didn't make cholesterol as an evil thing. It has a function in the body. We're supposed to be eating it and allowing our body to produce it. Whenever we take something that stops something that's natural for the body to do, you got to think like, why are we doing this? Does this really make sense? Is this to the highest purpose? The highest purpose for my health, for my overall health? That's the question. All right, so here are her little things. I think I've got 6 of them that I have underlined. 1, first of all, saturated fats and cholesterol make the walls of the cells firm. Without them, the cells become flabby and fluid. We do not want flabby and fluid cell walls, folks. Okay, number 2. All the cells in our bodies have to communicate with each other, and they do it through so-called lipid rafts. That's page 23. You don't have fat and cholesterol, your cells cannot communicate with each other. And what happens when you have communication breakdown, folks? Isolation, illness, resources don't get what they're supposed to be. All sorts of things like that. Okay? Number 3, again, the human brain is particularly rich in cholesterol. Human breast milk is very high in cholesterol. All right, that's just an aside. Okay, number 4. Memory. Whoa. Memory. We need cholesterol for memory. Whoa. Memories are formed by our brain cells establishing connections with each other called synapses. How do we do a synapse? How does my brain make a synapse? with cholesterol. It's almost entirely dependent on cholesterol. So, memory loss. Are you having memory loss? You need cholesterol. Short-term memory, long-term memory. Brain needs more cholesterol. What else have we got here? Ba-ba-ba. After the brain. I started talking about this. And then we'll be done and we'll take questions. After the brain, the organs most hungry for cholesterol are our endocrine glands, adrenals, and sex glands. They produce steroid hormones in the body: testosterone, progesterone, pregnenolone, say that twice, androsterone, estrone, estradiol, corticosterone, aldosterone, and others. These hormones regulate metabolism, energy production, mineral assimilation, brain, muscle, and bone formation, behavior, emotions, and reproduction. Whoa, folks. Whoa. Right? Without cholesterol, we would not be able to have children. What? Because every sex hormone in our bodies is made from cholesterol. There is an infertility epidemic. Some of that has to do with what's gone on the last couple of years. I'm not going to go into that here. A lot of it has to do with not enough cholesterol to make sex hormones. All right, folks. And the last one is one of the busiest organs in terms of cholesterol production in our body is the liver. Bile is made of cholesterol. All right. I think I've made my point here, folks. So I just want to make one more point, which is this. So you've heard the first point, which is that we need it. We need it, so eat it, right? And I'll tell you which things to eat in a moment. The other point, wait, it just left me. Maybe that's all we're supposed to talk about today. We need it, so eat it. Cholesterol. Oh, the other point is that often in gaps, let me say something else. Why do we have high numbers of cholesterol? Because the body is chronically inflamed. Cholesterol is what I like to call the flag on the play. It's not the play. It's the flag. It tells you what's happening. You could also talk about it as the smoke, not the fire, right? Cholesterol is the smoke. You have high levels of cholesterol, it's pointing to something. It's saying, yoo-hoo, we have chronic inflammation here. That's what the high levels are saying. Now, the other point, so that's point number 2. Point number 1 is you need it for every single cell, all sorts of functions in the body. We just went over all of those. You can read more. Number 2, it's the flag on the play. It's the smoke, not the fire, and it is pointing to chronic inflammation in the body. That's what it's pointing to. The third point I want to make is that why do cholesterol levels often go up when we have healing through gaps? So people will say, oh my God, I came in with 180 and now I'm at 220. Been doing gaps for 6 months. Why is it high? Because it's healing. Because you are healing. Because the body is healing. It's brilliant. It's doing what it needs to do. It's calling for more cholesterol because you are going through healing. All right. I hope that was helpful. I know that was a lot, but I wanted to just get this out there for everyone because yet again, Western medicine is focusing on one thing, reductionism, and it's telling you that it's bad. And really, it's not bad at all. As Victoria's Valerie said up here, she said, cholesterol is actually our friend. Yes! Yes. So Dr. Natasha says, friend or foe? We say friend. All right. What are the foods that we all need to be eating? the number one richest in cholesterol is caviar, fish roe, fish eggs. Richest source. You don't have to eat a lot of it. You could eat a teaspoon a week. Make sure it's clean. Great for kids. I like to suggest that moms freeze the little orange little eggs, and then kids can just pop them in their mouth and suck on them. They love the texture. All right. Number one is cholesterol highest, richest. Number two is cod liver oil. Cod liver oil. Yes, everyone should be having cod liver oil. What's the best is traditionally made, fermented cod liver oil. That's according to Dr. Natasha in her book. All right. Fresh egg yolk is number three. Third place, yes. We want fabulous fresh egg yolk. Raw is best, as in Gap shakes, as in Russian custard. I hope all of you have been making Russian custard and you eat it every day. Start eating that Russian custard and your brain function will go up. Remembering that egg yolks can, if you've been deficient in these nutrients that egg yolks provide, or if you've just been deficient in nutrition. Deficient in nutrition. Every once in a while I make myself laugh. All right, if you've been malnourished, adding in egg yolk to your diet can make you have some die-off. So don't go from 0 raw egg yolks a day to 8. Don't even go from 0 raw egg yolks to 2. You might want to start with just a half a one in Russian custard. Or make a batch and then go ahead and have 1 teaspoon, and then let everybody else have a teaspoon, and then it's gone. Fabulous way to start Russian custard in a family. Okay, what else? Butter, as we said, fresh, natural, pasture-raised butter. Wonderful, that comes in number 4. Cold water fish and shellfish. I'm reading straight off of page 283 in the yellow book, everybody. Pardon, 263, I'm sorry. Here I am, 263, it's all here. You all can find the list of which foods are rich in cholesterol. Cold water fish and shellfish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, shrimp. Yes, yes, yes. Fish is almost twice as rich in cholesterol as eggs. And the last one is lard from a pastured pig. Please. So, golly, I'm just chatty Cathy today, aren't I? I think I am. I was teaching with Dr. Natasha 2 weeks ago, and I taught both the coach program with her and the certified GAPS practitioner program with her. And what did she have to say to almost every question? What was the right answer? More fat, more fat, more fat, which means more cholesterol, more cholesterol, more cholesterol. To every question, more fat. Hormone question, stress question, brain function question. What do you need? More fat, more cholesterol. So I just want to give that to you because it was a little pearl that she gave. I love to share things that Dr. Natasha teaches when we teach together, when I teach with her. More fat, more fat, more fat. If you think you've had enough fat, have more. And what she said really is that everyone, again, don't start here, work towards it. Everyone should have a cup of sour cream, meaning GAP sour cream, meaning cultured cream, every day for dessert. That will give you, add a couple of raw egg yolks, and you are on your way to having enough cholesterol that day, or fat. All right, that's what I've got. Hope that was helpful, everyone. And let us see what else we've got. Saying hello. Hello, Jody. Good to have you. All right, what else? How about organ meats for cholesterol? Yes, they are great. They're just not in the top 6, Victoria's Valerie. Yes, so certainly liver produces cholesterol. Certainly brain would be fabulous. Can you get brain? Organ meats, yes. How about making some bone marrow butter? Fabulous, yes. Okay, let's see what else. Good question, thank you. Hello, Abida. So good to see you also. Yes, yes, yes. All right, Rosa Maria asks, how can I make Russian custard more palatable? She really doesn't like the eggy taste. It shouldn't taste like egg at all if it's whipped long enough. So just remember, folks, that the best way to make a Russian custard, you can do this if you want, but I'm not going to sit there whisking with my right arm. First of all, I had a shoulder injury earlier this year, but regardless, it takes a long time to whisk the Russian custard to the point that it turns white. That's what we're going for. It's just not like open an egg, put the white over there, stick the yolk in the bowl, and then go like this a little bit. No. We are aerating it. We are whisking it. We are whipping it up. We're bringing in lots and lots of air. Use a standing mixer. Use a handheld mixer. Do not use a whisk. You'll never get there. So it shouldn't taste like egg at all, Rosa. And of course, Russian custard is made with honey. So it's a little bit sweet, and it shouldn't taste like egg at all. I suggest adding more air. Lemon's great too. How about something like thinking. Yeah, I don't know. I was going to say put some mint, but mint is yucky. Not in general, but for this. Okay. What if my daughter has a strong reaction to inflammation after taking sour cream gaps? I said, yeah, Rosa, it's bone marrow butter. Bone marrow butter. I'll tell you about that in a minute. What if my daughter has a strong reaction to inflammation after taking sour cream gaps? So, as with everything, what I would suggest is figuring out, so two things. One is, how does the inflammation manifest? What is the symptom that shows up? What's the visible physical symptom? You say that she has inflammation after GAP sour cream. What does that look like? Number one. Number two, is it really uncomfortable for her? If it's uncomfortable for her, then back up and give her less, right? If it is not uncomfortable for her, then keep on going. That's usually the way that we work GAPs. We look for the level of tolerance. Can she tolerate the GAPS cultured cream or the GAP sour cream? If she can tolerate it, then keep going. If she can't tolerate it, if it's intolerable for her, then you want to stop and take a break for a couple weeks, like 2, or you want to slow down and back up. So if she has inflammation at 1/4 of a cup of sour cream, then perhaps, let's see this. If she has inflammation at 1/4 of a cup of sour cream, then maybe she won't have inflammation at a tablespoon. So just figure out where that number is, just like with everybody, just like with every food that we bring in, we find out what is the level at which the body can tolerate that food. And for everyone, that level is going to be different. Some people are going to be moving at 1 teaspoon at a time. That's the increment that their body can handle well. Some people will be moving at a tablespoon, right? Increment. Some people will be moving at a drop. No problem. So if she has inflammation, you want to figure out what level can she tolerate and go slowly with that amount. Again, I call it the Monica Corrado stair-step method of adding foods and gaps, right? Monica Corrado is me. See that right there, Monica Corrado. Stair-step method means you increase a little bit. Maybe it's a teaspoon. Increase. Stay at that level for a day, 2 days, 3 days, until it's incorporated in the body very well. Increase again. Another tablespoon or teaspoon. Stay at that level. So it looks like a little staircase. We never go from 0 to a half a cup or 0 to a bucket, right? We go from 0 to a little bit, and then we stay there for a couple days, then we increase a little bit. We stay there for a couple days. Sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's a month. It's all very, very, very individual. Stay there until it's tolerated, and then increase. Okay, hello, Sandy. Yeah, my voice is low because it's tired. No, I'm in exactly the same place I always am, Sandy. I did a big conference on Saturday, and I talked all day. Not only giving my speech, but talking to people about gaps, so my throat is a little bit, it's groggly. Sorry. It's low. That's what it is. I need honey. Okay. All right. Laura says, add vanilla to the Russian custard. Yes, just make sure it's not garbage vanilla. Yeah, like you make it yourself or you get something that's organic and clean, right? Okay. Inflammation on her foot and she can't really walk and her wrist goes stiff. Yes, just try less, Rosa. Maybe she's just having too much. And then the next thing that we say is continue with healing. So more meat stock, more meat stock, more meat stock. Did I say it? More meat stock, more meat stock, more meat stock. More cartilage, more cartilage, more cartilage. More fat, more fat, more fat. Right? Work with your duck fat. Work with your beef fat, tallow. Work with your lard, etc., etc. Okay. How do you make bone marrow butter? You get some bone marrow. Start in another place. Get some marrow bones. You get some marrow bones. You can get the long ones that are cut in half. They call them canoes. Canoe cut of a marrow bone. Remember, a marrow bone is a long bone. It's a leg bone, if you will. So you can get the long bones that are cut in half. They call them canoe cut usually. Or you can get little short ones from 1 inch to 2 inches, just the round marrow bone. And you can take those, put them on a sheet pan in the oven, and bake them at, I don't know, 300, 325 Fahrenheit until they're done. Maybe 15, 20 minutes till they're cooked through. Then you let that cool. Don't let it cold because it'll coagulate and that won't be a nice texture. So let it get cool at room temperature. Then at the same time, soften butter to room temperature. And then you just combine them. And you whisk them together. You use a standing mixer. You use a regular mixer. And you mix it together until it's well incorporated. So it's basically butter plus marrow, grass-fed butter plus marrow, beef marrow. Don't try to do it with chicken. You'll never get it out. Yeah, so, or bison marrow bones, or, what else can you get that's a big animal? Big marrow bones. And then you combine them, and then I like to roll them, put them on parchment paper and roll it up so you have a log of butter, put it in the refrigerator. It'll get nice and it'll firm up. Then you can cut little pieces of it, put it in your stock, put it in your soup, put it in your casseroles, etc. Very easy to do. All right, that's bone marrow. Who has any other questions? At this point, I'm going to drink from my fabulous, here's my chicken stock with mushrooms, immunity matrix from Dr. Tom Cowan, and ghee and salt. Yay. That's my power drink. Okay. The other thing, Rosa, you may, if her wrists go stiff, these are areas that would, when you have stiffness anywhere, folks, these are areas that may benefit, especially joints, may benefit from some castor oil packs. Putting them on those, on the wrists or on the joints, on the knees, to bring more blood flow to the area and help it detoxify. All right, Abida asks, I hope that's correct. How do you assess GAPS is working? My autistic son is on full GAPS. Sometimes I read stories on the net where people tell very sudden improvements in a few days after starting GAPS. I haven't noticed a change, or is it a wrong way of thinking? Plus, how do you know that this specific person should be on no plants GAPS? Very good questions. Okay, so first of all, while the full GAPS diet can help and does a lot of healing, intro is where we see the most healing happen. So if it is possible for you to take a period of time over the summer or during school break or whenever, if you can take a period of time, a month, 2 months, where you can start on the intro diet, you may see a lot more what do I want to say? Intense healing, a lot more dramatic healing. Okay? So for autism, that's the first thing. If you can find a way to easily do the intro diet with your child, with your son, over the course of 2 months or 3 months, or at least get started over that period, that is usually where we're going to see the most healing, fast or dramatically. The other thing we have to remember is that everyone comes to GAPS with their own history. They come with their own symptoms. They come with their own degree of damage to the digestive system. They come with their own levels of malnutrition. They come with all sorts of things. So what works for one person within a month or two may not work for another person for 6 months or 8 months or 2 years. It really is just very, very individual. So to keep that in mind also. The other thing is that I've said this before, and you may wish to go grab my video on YouTube or on this page about challenges of full GAPS. I did a Facebook Live a little while back where I talked about, why it's a good thing and why it can be challenging. And so one of the things that you want to think about is that how many nuts and seeds is your son having on full GAPS? How much sugar is your son having on full GAPS? How much fruit is your child having on full GAPS? So we often see that I, as a practitioner, as a certified GAPS practitioner, often see that removing fruit and nuts and seeds and beans, the beans that are allowed on GAPS, for a good 3 to 6 months, if you're going to be on full GAPS and not do intro, can be very, very helpful. So full GAPS is great, but it also depends on where you came from. If you came from the standard American diet, that doesn't mean you're in America, but meaning if you came from a highly processed food, lots of carbohydrates, lots of food additives and dyes and fractions and all that garbage. If you came from a not nutrient-dense diet and you come to full GAPS, you will see a lot of healings, or many people do. But if you were already eating pretty well, then you won't see such a dramatic, most of the time we won't see such a dramatic shift going from eating that way into full GAPS diet. So I would really take a look at that. I would look at that video and I would check it out. It's called, Challenges of the Full GAPS Diet or something like that. I would look at that. The other thing is, how do you know that a person should be on no plants? That is right in the blue book. I would really, everybody please get the books and read them, share them, do whatever you need to do. But the people that need to be on no plants, I think Dr. Natasha goes over it very specifically. Let's look. No plant GAPS, 186 in blue. I'll read it. Here we go. This is why I ask everyone to have at least read one of the books before they come to this group so we can talk together. So, who needs no plant GAPS? Let's take a look at what she says. Okay, people with, okay, ready? Type 1 diabetes, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, severe mental illness, and autoimmune diseases that are growing rapidly. That's on page 186. Okay, so really, no plant, there you go. The first group of patients that followed no plants were babies with FPIEs, then ulcerative colitis, then mental illness, then rheumatoid arthritis. All of these things really has been incredible. The other thing is no plants for anyone who's having severe diarrhea that we cannot stop. If you are having that happening, take vegetables out of your diet and go do no plant for a little while. I hope that's helpful. All right, let's see. Jody, I think I have the castor, it's C-A-S-T-O-R, castor oil packs. I believe the instructions are on our page up under featured posts. I think I posted it there. If I didn't post it there, tag me and I will post it there for everyone. You basically need organic, clean castor oil, a hot water bottle, and a flannel. A piece of flannel, which could be an old shirt or an old, people sell castor oil kits, but frankly, you don't have to spend that kind of money. So let me know. All right, Faria says, hi, Monica, do I need to grind sprouted seeds or can I just add it to milk and kefir? Oh, no. Yes. Remember that grind sprouted seeds. Yes. Grind sprouted seeds. It really depends on where you are. You'd have to grind them on intro. In fact, you're not even into nut butter or flour on intro. If you're on full gaps, you could use sprouted sunflower seeds, sprouted broccoli seeds, things like that. It really depends on your how healthy your digestive system is, how healed it is, how strong it is. Can you tolerate them, or is it sandpaper to an open wound? Try them. So number one, you have to be on full gaps to not grind sprouted seeds, etc., to even try this. And number two, I would have a lot of healing before I tried it. And then watch. Do you add them and you get diarrhea? That means you're not ready. Do you add them and you find them in your stools? That means you're not ready. Those are two things to use. Hope that's helpful. All right. My daughter still has inflammation and hadn't been able to move from intro in more than a year. Could that be because of the meds? Is she on meds? Could be. Maybe not. No nuts, fruits, or lentils for more than 2 months. Excellent. Well done. Yeah. Inflammation. Yep. I would be, Rosa and everyone else, pardon me, I would be increasing her fat like crazy. How much duck fat is she having? How much lard is she having? How much beef tallow is she having? How much lamb tallow is she having? How much ghee is she having? I would be getting that number up to half a cup a day. Not all at once, very slowly. Is she having 8 tablespoons or more every day? And then we'll start seeing inflammation go down. If you have chronic inflammation, people, you need more fat. You need more fat. You need more fat. And we're not talking about avocado here. That's straight from Dr. Natasha's mouth. Not that avocado is bad for you, but that's not going to do what we need it to do. We're also not talking about olive oil here, though olive oil is a nice thing. We're talking about healthy animal fats, and we're talking about a lot of them. A lot. So that's where I would go. If you have inflammation, folks, you have to have more fat. You're not having enough fat. I would increase your fat. Again, slowly. Don't start with a half a cup. Don't start with, 8 tablespoons, which is the equivalent of a stick of butter. Start with 1 additional bite, 1 additional teaspoon, 1 additional tablespoon. But really, get the fats up. I want to see fat on everybody's counter next to their stove. I want to see lard and tallow and ghee and coconut oil. And then in the refrigerator, I want to see duck fat and chicken fat. And when you are getting enough of those every single day, then things will calm down. Oh, you're welcome, Rosa. You're very welcome. Hey, Faria, how are you? Okay, good. Everyone don't worry about it. The other thing we want to think about with inflammation, number 1, add in the fat, add in the fat, add in the fat. Did I say add in the fat? Up the fat, up the fat, up the fat. More. Not all at one time. Slow and steady. Use ox boil if you need to, or use the GAPS milkshakes if you need to. Fabulous, right? Increase the amount of beets you're eating. Increase the amount of liver you're eating. These will all help you to tolerate more fat. Increase the fat, increase the fat, increase the fat, and then increase the detox protocol. Support the body. Baths every night. Please go watch the detox bath YouTube, etc. Baths every night. Epsom salt baths, Epsom salt baths, Epsom salt baths, apple cider vinegar baths, baking soda baths, Dead Sea salt baths, every darn thing. Support the body with detoxification methods. All right, where are we? I hope that's helpful. Okay, thank you so much. It helps. We struggle with fruit intake, not much nuts intake, but fruit is definitely something that can be improved. He is so picky eater that I thought there was a point he'd never be able to do gaps. That's when I started full gaps. Yes. Don't worry. Take your time. This is a journey. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. Don't rush. Get yourself ready and set up to do intro. If anybody wants to talk with me about that, I do consultations about all of that, how to get ready for intro. You could probably figure it out yourself, but happy to help. Buffalo ghee, yes. Does it work? Ghee just means butter that was made into clarified butter. They took all the milk solids. So, yes, you can have buffalo ghee, goat ghee, sheep ghee, donkey ghee. Probably doesn't make enough milk for donkey ghee, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, everyone, I'm going to scoot. I wish you all well. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Just be spacious about all of it. You're doing a great, great job. Your children are very, very lucky to have you. If you're doing this for yourself, think of it as a way to nurture and nourish and take care of you. You're welcome, Vicki. All right. Be well, everyone. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week. Be well now. Bye-bye.